Happy New Year's to yours. Let's not start off with any nonsense. We're not going to talk any bullshit about it's 2021 and it's so brand new that 2020 is gone at 12:31 at 12:59:59. The calendar marked away everything. It wiped away clean and clear all the problems, troubles, situations that you may have had in your life. That is just not being honest, and I will not perpetuate that falsehood. Listen, we have moved on to a new year. We can have a new frame of mind. A lot of y'all have started with resolutions, which I think is kind of jive also. But if that's the motivation that you need to push you forward to doing something new, more positive, to better yourself, then use that motivation. But I don't believe that you need a resolution to change your path. I think that you just need your mindset. And that's why I want to talk about today a few things. We have to learn to shut up. We have to learn to listen. And we have to learn to open our eyes to situations in a realistic manner so that we understand fully our responsibilities, not somebody else's responsibilities to you, but your responsibilities to yourself and other people for what goes on in your world. This way, that every time that you place some kind of blame, you always blame yourself and really only yourself. The outside influences and forces you can control to a degree. And we're going to talk about some of those ways that you can control. I'm not going to bullshit myself. I welcome you. I appreciate you stopping by. I enjoy you listening to Strange Talk with Doc. Am I my normal mental self today? No, I am not. I did not like what I seen. I did not like what I felt. I did not like the vibe. And I'm going to tell you why I don't like the vibe. I'm going to tell you why I didn't like what I seen. I'm going to tell you why I am upset and angry at the United States of America and some of the citizens of the United States of America. Even some with good intentions who are going haywire and saying the wrong things. We have got to rid ourselves of the malice. We got to rid ourselves of deceit, hypocrisy, envy, slander, and most of all, hate. Hate encompasses a lot of things. You get your racism in hate. You get your violence inside hate. You get your prejudice inside hate. So hate covers a lot of aspects. Now, some of the people who really piss me off are those who sit back and go, not my America. Not my America, really? Let me ask you a question. On August 8th, 1925, when the Ku Klux Klan had almost 50,000 people march on Washington, was that your America? On February 20, 1939, when the Nazi Party had a rally in New York City at Madison Square Garden, was that your America? When people were massacred, and I'm going to explain what the meaning of Webster says what massacration is. That's the act or the instance of killing a number of usually harmless or unresisting human beings under circumstances of atrocity or cruelty. Was it in your America when America had sundown towns all across the South? Was that your America? Was it your America when the Rosewood massacres happened? Was it your America in the 1906 Atlanta massacres? Was it your America when the Thibodeau massacres happened? Was it your America when the Okasee massacres happened? Was it your America when the New Orleans massacre of 1866 happened? Was it your America during New York City draft riot massacres? Was it your America in the Red Summer of 1919? Also, was it your America in Oberlaska massacre? Was it your America in 1989 Wilmington, North Carolina's massacre? Was it your America and the Tulsa Wall Street massacres. So don't sit there and ever perpetuate the lie that this is not your America. What you seen on Capitol Hill is your America. It is truly at the heart and soul of your America. Does it still rank itself above other nations? Yes. But this is also your America. You can go back and research any one of those names that I named. You can go back yourself and see the atrocities that happen against other human beings. Yeah. We are I want dealing you to treat with COVID. Everybody that you possibly can like you would treat a good person, like you would treat somebody that you deem should be deserving of your respect. And not just because of something about them. If they're gay, if they're black, if they're female, that you feel that you have the right, some kind of crazy birthright to mistreat them because of that. There's enough of that. If we could do some kind of healing, and it starts, this is grassroots shit. You talking grassroots. Grassroots is an individual on the ground floor who's not in the penthouse actually putting in the work. And the work is treat people like you want to be treated yourself. And if you do that, a lot of this bullshit here will end. We will stop the nonsense. Now, do I expect anything in the Biden administration, Harris administration to change dramatically and drastically when these things have been in place for hundreds of years? No. But can it get better? Yes. Can it be more realistic? Yes. Can we call a spade a spade? I hope so. But we need to work and not wait for just politicians. We need to kill these fringe groups. They need to be treated like they would treat a black group of young men. And if that happens, if America could actually look in the mirror and say that we treat our white boys better than we treat our black boys, shit would change right then and there. Things would instantly change. If you would tell police they can't just fucking shoot a black dude sitting in his car who has a legal license to carry a gun, shit would change. A white person should not feel that they have the right to go in a fucking Capitol building and touch shit and walk around when they wasn't on a tour. Because if I did it, I'd be dead. Let's be honest. Well, this is Hello, and welcome to Strange Talk with Doc. I hope everything is going well with you. Hope everything is going well with yours. I want to talk about a couple of things today, and I want to kind of kill a conspiracy, at least do my part to kill a conspiracy, even though it is an issue. The conspiracy theories are revolving around it does not make sense to me. I'm a person who uses their brain. I try to think through things. I like to do research. I use data, evidence to make points. I don't go half cocked and just say, this sounds good, let me run with it. So I'm going to work on trying to do my best to get this point across to you where it makes sense to even you. If you even believe this conspiracy, I'm going to give you something else to think about. But I also want to give you something else to think about if you never thought about this. Maybe you can get some empathy, have some sympathy, open your eyes, your ears, and your mouth to what it's like to be a black person living in America when you know that black people, and if you didn't know, I'm letting you know now, black people are under a constant state of pressure. We're under a state of emergency almost our entire lives, and we live to a degree in dangerous situations, not only within our own communities, but through when we travel through other communities. And I will explain what I'm talking about briefly. I'm going to keep everything concise. I'm going to keep it quick, and I'm going to keep it in America with you have to be 2 times better than a white guy and still might not get the opportunity when you could be Hank Aaron, and instead of people celebrating you being a home run king, they send death threats and you need FBI and cops to protect you at a baseball game. This is my America. I don't like to come down on America a lot because I love this country.
This is the only country I've ever lived. It's the only country I am a citizen of. This is the country that affords me opportunities that I would not have. But I'd be a goddamn liar if I sit here and tell you that there are certain things that you have to deal with here that are outlandish and outrageous. Being a gun owner, do you think that I am 100% comfortable being in my vehicle or being in a department store with a pistol on me? And I don't know how a cop is going to react, even though I can give him license, driver's license, insurance. I don't know. I don't know what his day is like, and I don't know what his viewpoints on black people are. And see, you sit there and you say, oh man, you're uptight about nothing. This bullshit. There is pressure. There is pressure. There's constant danger. There's constant degree of fear. I don't live in fear, but there is a fear of. It's just like you. You take a knife. You're not scared of the knife, but you have to keep in the back of your mind that there's a fear that that knife can cut you if you don't do the right thing. See, here's the problem. You don't know what the right thing is with the wrong person sometimes. You don't know what if you're doing everything right, if it's still not enough to appease them because they have the power, they have the backing. If they do wrong, they have a mayor, they have a union, they have maybe a governor who will back them against you. And on top of it, now maybe you're dead. Because I lived in New York where they bust your ass for nothing, next to nothing. You could be in a Wall Street suit, which 90% of the time I was in a shirt, tie, a suit jacket, and it didn't stop any harassment from coming my way. It stopped zero harassment from coming my way. I'm going to tell you that's God's honest truth. I wish that that was some kind of shield of protection, like a flag that said, no, he's one of the good ones. No, there was none of the good ones under the Rudy Giuliani administration. Not where I came from. And then you got the pressure. I can't let us off the hook. We have the pressure of the neighborhood. Do you fall victim to the foolishness that you're weak because you're not a thug? Are you a chump because you go to school, you get good grades, you pay bills, you're a mark, you're a sucker? I mean, do you fall victim to that? Or do you say to yourself, you know what? School is important. Work is important. I have a future. I want to be able to get loans. I want to be able to get a pistol license. I want to be able to, if I get hurt, be able to file for disability. And some of these things you cannot do if you are a felon. So, being young, black, and in America, you have to also be able to maneuver not getting into the criminal justice system. And if you do go to the military, make it a means to an end. Don't look at the military and say to yourself, well, I'm golden. You know what? Making 30, $40,000 a year ain't shit, man. There's a lot of money to be made out there. Make it a means to an end. Look at that opportunity and say to yourself, well, let me take some corresponding classes. Online schooling is acceptable these days. It wasn't in my day. It didn't really even it didn't exist because first of all, there was no freaking online. Take advantage. Set yourself up so that you can get those VA loans. And when you come out, you ain't got to pay rent. You're looking to buy a home. Save money. Don't get caught up in you need a $400 belt. No, you need $400 in the fucking bank. You need refrigerator full of food. You need stockpiles of things that you need. You need your children to have checking accounts. You need your children to have savings accounts and college funds. Don't let the community rule how you live. Don't let white America rule how you live. You don't owe the hood nothing. Which the only thing that you owe the hood is to make it out of there as decent as you possibly can. Be a shining example of what can be. Not what they want you to be, but what can be. Because I grew up with guys who have done fantastic, become doctors, who become lawyers. And then I've also grew up with guys who became thugs, killers, robbers, and rapists. And you know what? I don't give a fuck how much time you can do in a penitentiary where you're locked away with nothing but men. You're wasting time. And so what? You got a couple of muscles and your fucking hair's got beautiful waves. What kind of bills do that pay? You might find a chick who'll take care of you for a while because you're like that, but that's all. So don't fall victim to any of the dangers. Don't fall victim to the depression. Realize that it's there. Learn how to maneuver it smartly. Learn how to also figure out how to live in some kind of accord with white people, even if you have to avoid them. Because I live around mostly white people. I don't fuck around with them too much. But it's not because I dislike them or I hate them. It's just because if we don't have a lot in common like anybody else, they're human. I won't deal with shit that's just not in common with me. And that's the bottom line. If we have some commonalities, then I run with it. But that means we have to get to know each other. And I'm not one of those people that go out of his way to get to know black, white, or Hispanic, Asian, or whatever. I like to live and let live. I need distance and I need space from everybody. That's just the truth. That's the way Doc rolls. And anybody that knows me cannot dispute that because I'm like that with the people that you would consider day ones. I love them, but I love them from more than arm's length distance. I give them room to do them because then I'm not putting any pressures on them and they cannot try to put any If you don't know anything about black people, and especially if you are a black person, I don't give a damn what country you live in. Take some time each day to study, to learn about your own history. And white people and other people around the world, learn about some of the things that we have done to help make this a better place. I am not just talking acting, dancing, singing, rapping, George Washington carving a peanut. There are a lot of contributions that we have made to this world, and it's time, if you've never done it before, whatever age you are today, it's time to investigate other people. We are forced to learn other cultures' history, learn something about our culture, learn something about our history, and maybe it'll help you understand who we are as a people a little bit better. That's just a bug in your ear, you know? So I wanted to talk a little bit about, like I said, some keys to happiness and sadness. You know what? One of the things in my life that I've always dealt with some form of OCD. And my OCDs have been worse and they've been better. Right now, they're controllable. They are to the point where some of them I actually like the regiment. They help me get through in life. I like neatness. I like things in certain order. I'm no longer a nut about checking doors, locks, and ovens 15 times a day and making sure that I have a perfect count. But do I like things lined up? Yes, I do. I don't fight it. It's not something I'm ashamed of. It's not something that I battle with. It's not something that I find as a negative. I actually find it a positive. It gives me order, it gives me structure. It allows me to know where things are at all times. I place things in the same place. I do same regiments at the same exact time almost every day. Is it a form of a prison sentence to be forced to do these things? Yes, it is. There's no doubt about that. I won't lie to you and say that it isn't. I've had this conversation with my wife. My wife said you're so regimented in certain things that you do. It's not freedom. And I love freedom, but I learned to embrace the parts of me that are imperfect because we can't be perfect, but we can be the best we can be. So I also learned about this word called loneliness. Loneliness is to me a state of mind. You can be alone, but you never have to feel lonely. If you have you, you are not lonely. You're just alone. Your dreams and your goals might not be anybody else's dreams. They might not be anybody else's goals. They might not want to ever support you. I do this podcast. I send out emails from time to time to buddies of mine, and I ask them to join. And some of them will placate me by saying, yes, I will, and they won't. And that's fine by me. That's on them. That's not on me. I don't lie. I don't say things to make people feel better. I'm not built that way. I don't have that in me to just say something to make a person feel better about themselves just so that at the end I can disappoint them. Am I perfect in all my plans? No, but I try to honor everything that comes out of my mouth. If I say I'm going to be somewhere at 8:15, you better believe at 8 o'clock I'm already sitting there waiting for the 15 minutes. That's just who I am. And so when a person fights loneliness, they say to themselves, they only see the encompass of nothingness. When they have to look at themselves and see wholeness, they have to see the whole picture. It's your goal to go out there and do something. It's nobody else's responsibility to do it with you. You have to be able to get to the point where you say, this is my thing. This podcast is my thing. Golf is my thing. I played football. I boxed. I had nobody in the crowd when I played for the most part. It was my thing. I couldn't put that on my friends. They had a life to live themselves. I was raised in a different kind of manner than maybe a lot of other kids. I had a mother and I had a father. My father and mother looked at me and understood me. God gave me the perfect parents. They understood me as a child and said that there's certain things about this boy that are different than maybe other little boys, and so we're going to feed those things about him. I didn't like other kids. I didn't play with other kids. If I was forced, I did, but if I could be alone, I was alone. I had my wrestling magazines, I had my comic books, I had my cat. I was happy. My father told me that if I ever had more than 3 friends, I was a fool, and I believed that. Was he right? Maybe he was dead wrong. But I knew since childhood that trust was not a thing that was going to be a big thing to me. I don't confide in people. I have never confided in people. Anything that I say while doing this podcast is about as deep as it gets with me and another human being, including my wife. I talk to my wife. I say things to her, but there are things that she never needs to know, and I keep those her protected from it, and I keep myself protected from her ever being forced to hear some things. I'm not carrying state secrets, but that's just the reality of the situation. Trust is not a friend of mine. It's not a word that I throw around. Friend is not a word that I understand or really understand well. Have I had friends? I think I've had friends. I've had dear friends, people that I love wholeheartedly. I would go to bat, I would go to war for them, and go to war with them. But in my years on this planet, I might have had 3 friends in total. They never overlapped. They were different people from different times and different places. Because if I'm a all in, all out, 100% in or I'm 100% out. If you know if I'm in, I'm with you. If I'm out, I'm out. But you take the time, you take the energy, and you figure out what's the most important thing to you. Even if you have to write it down, the pros, the cons, look into who and what you're doing. What does it mean? What are you willing to sacrifice to make that thing happen? If you're willing to sacrifice sleep, peace of mind, you're going to love it as though it's a breathing, living soul. And you could put your time and energy into it. No matter who does not back you, you got the backing you need. Look in the mirror. That person is backing you. So go forward. Go forward. Don't be scared. Don't ever be afraid to fail. Failure is where you learn how to succeed. We don't come out of the womb as just massive success. That's trial and error. Be able to put in the work, do the trial, and then do the error, and learn from it. Don't let it eat you up. Don't make it let you drink, smoke, or use drugs. Don't blame fault. If we stop faulting others and faulting ourselves for everything and learn to roll with the punches, I'm not saying have no sympathy, have no empathy, be some kind of sociopath about going through life. No, that's not healthy. I'm saying be calculated. Like you're a human computer because you are. You are a human machine, and embrace the machine part of you, and a lot of the bullshit will fade away. This is for young and this is for old. When I listen back, I hope that I made perfect sense of what I said because I don't mean any harm. I'm here to help, and that's my main goal. I want to help as many people as I possibly can before I leave this earth. I want to be able to say yes more than I can say no. If somebody asks me for help financially, if a hungry person comes up to me and they say, "Sir, I have no money. Could you please help me buy blah, blah, blah?" I'm going to do the best that I can to do that. What they do with what I give them is not on me, but where my heart is what's important.
Hello and welcome to a special Strange Talk with Doc. We're going to do the greatest of all times list today. I'm not going to deal with a lot of what's really going on in the world. I just want to have a nice, fun show. But I am going to talk about a couple of things to start off, and I'm going to keep it really brief. And we're going to go into the top 10. We're going to talk about the best rappers, the best TV shows, the best snacks, the best sneakers, the best songs, the best movies, gangster movies, hood movies. We're gonna hit a bunch of different topics. I'm gonna keep it
Now, I
brief.
did say that I was going to talk about average homeboy, and I don't know what that means. So, because I believe in living life, I believe in enjoying life. I believe that life is not a joke, but there has to be some rules to conducting yourself in this life. Because I want a life that's abundant. I want a life that's fulfilled. I want a life that has honor, integrity. I have a code of accountability and reliability that I must follow. Does that make me special? That does not make me special. Does that make me unique? That does not make me unique. But I think that it's an abomination to live a life where you don't have rules and regulations. And I am talking hard rules, rules that you cannot and you will not break under any circumstance. I don't steal. I have never been a thief. It is just not who I am. I try not to ever lie or give bad advice to anybody. It does not benefit me to give bad advice that could be used against me at a further date because a person says, because of the information you gave me, I went in the wrong direction. I don't want that on me. I don't need that on my head. I don't need that in my heart. I don't need that in my soul. So I stay away from that type of activity. I also stand on my own 2 feet. I believe that we must stand on our own 2 feet, that we must find a way to be strong. And if the things that come against us knock us down, that we have the strength to stand up against them, especially if they're our fault. I believe wholeheartedly that every relationship that you are in, you are responsible for 50% of how that relationship turns out, be it work, personal, schoolmates, churchmates, no matter what, neighbors, you play a part in everything that happens to you. So putting responsibility and blame on others is not something that I will do. I don't believe in talking about people in the third person. If somebody is not in the conversation, I will not bring them up in a conversation. I don't ask people how other people are doing. If I'm speaking to a buddy, I won't ask him how his brother's doing. I won't ask him how his father's doing. I won't ask him how his mother's doing. Because if I was in their life, I would know how they're doing. I mind my business, and I expect people to mind their business when it comes to me. I don't like to hear that I've been talked about. I've been doing Strange Talk with Doc for now since 2017. I have never used a government name of one person on any broadcast, and we're talking hundreds of episodes. That just lets you know that I live it. I don't just talk it, I walk it. Not one name have I ever used of any person in any situation have I used a government name on Strange Talk with Doc. I really am not a big fan of talking about people. I don't even bother talking about celebrities. I'll say rest in peace from here and there, but for the most part, you never hear me gossip. You never hear me spread rumors because it is not who I am. But these are hard laws and rules that I follow every single day of my life. I don't believe in borrowing money. I have loaned a lot of money in my life. I've been blessed enough to be the loaner and not the borrower. And so that's not something that I involve myself with. I never wanted to be average. I never wanted to be a B student. I never aimed for C's. I aimed for A's and A pluses because why not? Who am I to not shoot for the stars? Somebody told me, and it resonates with me still today, if you reach for the stars or the heavens, you'll fall into the stars. But if you reach for the curb, the only place you can go is into the gutter. There's no place for me in the gutter. I'm not fucking around with the gutter. I don't want nothing to do with the gutter. I came from the gutter. Bed-Stuy has taught me valuable lessons on how to conduct myself anywhere that I go. The rules and regulations of not stepping into lanes that don't belong to me. If it's not my lane, I don't step in that lane. I don't bother with that lane. I never have, nor ever will. My name is clean. I keep my name clean. When somebody mentions Doc, they're going to say he's an upright guy. He's a stand-up dude because I don't trick people. I don't fool people. I don't steal from people. I won't fuck your woman. I'm never going to try to step to your woman. I'm not going to try to step disrespectful to you. But if disrespect comes to me, I will handle it, and I'll handle it right then and there. No third parties involved. No nonsense. Man, oh man. Man only man. And going for it hard. And when you finally hit that wall, that's when you even try to go harder. Don't let the wall be a deterrent to stop you from getting to whatever goal it is that you have. I don't care if you're a podcast. I don't care if you're trying to save money. I don't care what it is. If you're trying to learn a new language and you're stuck on sentences, keep going harder. Push yourself to the limit that you thought you could never reach before by just digging in deep. Whatever you want is inside you, the ability to go get it. You know that there's realistic things that we have to think about. If you're 400 pounds and you're 5 foot tall, maybe you are not going to dunk like Michael Jordan. That's just reality. We must deal in reality. But if something is obtainable, losing weight, learning a new skill, finding a new job, being a better father, or being a better child, being a better husband, these things are obtainable. These things with hard work. Just put in the work. Don't expect anybody to gift you. If you get gifted, God bless you. And then take that gift and pass that gift on to somebody else. But most of us are not going to be gifted. We're going to have to work hard. And who said the Michael Jordans, the Mike Tysons of the world didn't put in the work? The Beyoncés, the Einsteins, they put in the effort, the energy, and the work to make their dreams come true. And that's what we have to do. I want to focus every show on at least a minute or two just talking about something that's real life that has nothing to do with anybody else. I'm also talking to myself. I'm not just talking to you. I'm basically talking to myself out loud because there are things that I want to work on. I want to be a better golfer. I want to hit the ball straighter each and every time. I want to lower my score, but I have to put in the work. Nobody's just going to say because you look good out on the golf course, Doc, that all of a sudden your game is going to be better. Just because I brought custom clubs this year, my game is going to improve. I'm going to need to work on skill sets to make myself better. Not only have good equipment, the best equipment that I possibly can afford, but I also have to put in the work to make my efforts worthwhile so that I don't actually digress, but I progress. And that's what I want to do. I want to do that with this podcast. I want to do that with every aspect of my life. I want to get better. I want to be a better person. My job is to be a better person in this life, help as many people in this lifetime that I possibly can. Not wish about it, not dream about it, but actually do it. To be somebody that somebody could say, you know what, maybe he gave me a push in the direction that I needed to go. He said something that was worth listening to. I don't do this podcast just to blow air out of my mouth. It does not make sense, and I don't want to
I
waste
got
your
to
time
straighten
doing
out
that
something
type of
real
thing.
quick so people fully understand what goes on here at Strange Talk with Doc. One thing, I received some emails this week. We do not talk about the royals here. We do not talk about Kim and Kanye here. We do not talk about Beyonce and Jay-Z. If it's somebody dating somebody and they happen to be a celebrity, that's on them. I have nothing to do with that. I have nothing to speak on that. I do not deal with rumors, innuendos, or gossip. You will not find that here. And just to prove a point, later on this podcast, I will speak about Tiger Woods, but I will not speak about any gossip, rumors, or innuendos concerning Tiger Woods. So there's a difference between speaking on a celebrity and speaking about a celebrity. And I don't speak about celebrities. I speak about them if they pass and what they meant to me, if they have a product or show or album, I'll critique it to the best of my abilities. But as far as their personal life, who's using drugs, who's in rehab, who's beefing, that is not what Strange Talk with Doc is about. And if that's what you're looking for, you know what? I welcome you to find another podcast to listen to. Now, every show, by the way, what I do speak about is news, politics. I speak about sports, television, movies. I speak about things that are going on in my life. And I want to kick this bad boy off by saying 2021, I need you, and I need you desperately. I need you to provide me with some things that I've been missing because life is not promised. 2020 was taken away from most of us. I don't know how you lived it, but I lived it very cautiously. I social distance. I didn't do a lot. I didn't travel. I didn't really do almost anything worth a damn. But 2021, I need to start living my life. You understand? I need to start having some fun. I need to start dining out. I want to golf more. I want to go to the gun range and shoot guns more. I want to go on long drives in my car and actually be able to get out and have something to do and some pleasurable experience when I get there. Now, I'm not a person, anybody who knows me knows that I hate long drives in cars. Anything over 3 hours, I consider that flying distance. But this year, I don't care. I want to take long drives. I want to live life like I have never lived life before. And 2020 told me and proved to me that I have to. Now, I know that they say that God repays any righteous person 10 times whatever they lost in life. But nobody said in this situation that he's going to promise us 10 years for the 1 year that we lost. So I can't live in that hope. I have to live in the reality that 2021 could be my last year ever on this earth. And I'm not YOLO in it. I'm not one of those YOLOs, like live like there's no tomorrow because tomorrow is a reality if you have it. So I just want to live and I want to enjoy. And I hope that you get a chance in 2021 to experience some of the things that you did not get to experience in 2020. If that's just spending time with your mother face to face, an auntie, a grandmother, going to see that new child in your family that was born, whatever it may be. I don't care if you wanted to start playing basketball again, go to the pool. You know what I'm getting at. And I don't want to belate this. I don't want to make this a long drawn out thing. But that's what I want to do. 2021, I need you bad, man. I'm desperately spreading this out on the air. This is my hope. This is my faith. This is my prayer, if you will, that things will turn around in a positive manner for all of us in 2020. Strange Talk with Doc. I am Doc. And I want to ask you a question, white men. When the fuck you gonna stop all these mass shootings, man? What the fuck are you so angry about? Do you realize that everybody gets hungry? Everybody has bills. Everybody gets sick. It's not exclusive to white people. You have privileges that you don't even pay attention to. You have privileges like being given the benefit of the doubt. The benefit of the doubt. Unless you are scraggly, super tattooed, and you look a certain way, you get the benefit of the doubt. You clean cut, you got a resume,
there's a room full of you and any other nationality, you feel that you have the advantage. Do not lie. It is the God's honest truth. But the mass shootings because you're angry, you're incel, because you feel like you can't get a woman, that is nonsense. There are more women out there that are looking for men than anything. The easiest thing to obtain in this planet is a mate. If you're gay or if you're straight, they are out there. Why the fuck are you so angry? Why, above all other nationalities, are you the angriest? When I was growing up, we used to think of white boys as soft, but that was a mistake because we didn't really think about what was going on in Brooklyn. Certain parts of Brooklyn, black guys couldn't go to because they were being chased out by white guys. So that should have let us know that you had a degree of crazy in you. Anybody who gets in a ship who thinks the earth is flat and travels all over the world to strange places and don't know what they're going to encounter has a degree of adventure. They do not lack courage. So why are you being so cowardly? Why are you picking off people who cannot defend themselves? I mean, you shot up schools with little children. You shot up Jewish centers. You shot up churches. You just shot up a supermarket. You shoot up discos. I mean, what the fuck, man? I know there's been other nationalities. I know Asians guy did the Virginia Tech. I know there's Malvo and Muhammad. We know about this. This is common. But why are you the most common of this uncommon act? Why you, out of everybody on the planet, are doing it the most? Now, and I am talking stranger danger here. Okay, so we're going to take out the gangbanging bullshit or drive-by. These are people who basically know each other. And if you know anything about murder, normally people who murder each other know each other at least in passing. It's not so much strangers. These are just indiscriminate people who could be anybody. They could even be your own race. They could be your own people, and you're plucking them off. It's not like it's racist. I'm not saying that these are all racially motivated. Some are, and that's a fact. Some definitely are. But you're just out there plucking, and we need to stop you. We need to get a grip on why are you so violent, and why do people in this country, why does the media, why does the print, why does the news make excuses for your behavior? Why do they always come up with a reason that you're suffering from something that nobody else is suffering from? There are millions of people who are suffering from everything any mass shooter is suffering from. They are not exclusive. They are not one of a kind. There are people suffering from PTSD, bad homes, sexual molestation, but they don't go out and do this. So we've got to come to grip as a country, as a society, and you as a people to shame young white men away from doing these acts because of an opportunity and chance to see them. Remember, man, unless you are in the business of literally putting something on the marketplace, make sure that there's some things that you do not sell. Do not sell your integrity. Do not sell your free will. Do not sell your body, and don't put your soul in peril of being lost by doing and saying and co-signing stupid shit. I don't care about you putting your car, your jewelry, something old that you no longer use. There are things that you can sell and there's no problems. But when you sell your body, your mind, your soul, or your integrity for money, what do you really profit? You get $1 that day, but that dollar won't even last. And I appreciate you listening. I'll be back next week. This has been Strange Talk with Doc. I appreciate you once again. And I'm going to tell you, like I tell you each and every time, people, peace to you and peace to yours. Good with yours. And I'm going to say something to you, and it's not going to be profound. It's not going to be something that you don't already know. But I hope that you are actually living it. I hope that you are actually putting it into place. You have to enjoy anything you love as many times as you can because trouble is always nearby, people.
Trouble is illness. Trouble is a pandemic. Trouble is riots, unrest. Trouble is the law sometimes. Trouble is not having enough. So if you love anything, if you love anybody, enjoy them as much as you humanly possibly can. Do not act like you got tomorrows and next year. If somebody's on your mind, you need to speak to them, call them as you hear this message. Don't wait, don't delay, because we don't have that luxury. I live in America, and America is a violent place, and shit can jump off at any second. It does not take a particular action to make something jump off. It's just the way it is. I don't know how it is where you're from, but I'm from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, America. And it's always been like that my entire life. People are willing to go all out as though you're in a war zone for no apparent reason. You don't know the reason is on their mind, but it happens all the time. And I just want you to make sure that you enjoy life. I'm not going to tell you to live, laugh, love bullshit. That's cliche. I'm not telling you how to enjoy something. If you like shooting basketball, shoot 1,000,000 before you die. Shoot 1,000,000. You love your children, hug them 1,000 times a month if you can. Don't let a day go by that you don't do or think about doing what you love. Make plans for it, preparate for it, save money to do it. Whatever it takes, do what you can. You go around one time. You don't live like a fool because it's gonna, that YOLO thing, but you live like you want to really say when it is over that you have done everything possible to have the best life that you possibly can, that the people around you will love you because of the way that you lived your life. And you could be an example to others how to live a fulfilled, joyous life. You know what? We've seen what this world is going through for this last year and a half. It's been devastating on everybody.
It doesn't make sense, right?
It doesn't seem to be
Listen to my heart, man. You don't need no stethoscope to listen to my heart. And everybody should be in that position, I believe. I believe that we should be in a position where our hearts are being heard. I'm not talking literal, I am talking figuratively here. Where our hearts are worn on our sleeves to the point that people know who we are, what we about. Nothing is, there's no ambiguity at all to the situation. People don't have to guess. When they hear something wrong about how you supposedly said something third party, they could question it by saying, you know what, that ain't that person. I know that person to a degree, and that person has never exhibited those thoughts, feelings, or anything of that nature. And that's what I do here, Strange Talk with Doc. I let you hear my heart on subject matters that I deem important or deem fun or deem just talkable about. I stay away from gossip. I stay away from who's dating who's on drugs, who's fighting, who wore what. I don't give a damn about award shows and things of that nature unless it's involving sports, things like that. But you don't need a stethoscope to hear somebody's heart that you've been around long enough, that you've been listening to. If you take the time to listen, they will let you know where their heart is. Just because you're listening to their heart doesn't mean it's in a good place. It could be in a horrible place, but at least you know them. You're not shocked. You're not surprised by a coworker. You're not shocked and surprised by a family member because their actions will never lie. Patterns don't lie. People lie. Words are lies, but patterns do
Now,
not lie.
the headline for this show is Do Not Get Shit Twisted. After I say something, what you then understand of what I said is not on me. That is on you. I mean what I say what I mean every single time. If you have been listening to Strange Talk with Doc, very rarely do I apologize for anything that I say. Am I always right? No. But is it my opinion? Yes. Do I stand on my sword? Every single time. I don't say anything that I don't mean just to get a feeling out of a person.
But it's just
Remember
not.
this, man. This is what I'm not telling you what to do. I never can tell you what to do. I don't even know you per se.
But you should not ever worry about if somebody twists your words, because, you know, what you say and how it's understood are not going to always coincide or line up or meet each other anywhere in the vicinity that they should. But if you are certain about what you say, if you are certain about what you mean, your intentions, that's all you can do. The ears that hear and the ears that decipher are not your ears, but the mouth that speaketh is your mouth. The tongue that goes through your jaw that formulate that word, those are on you. What you say matters. How you say it matters. But being interpreted, you can't speak it and then interpret it for the next person. I'm going to say a white cop pulls up in the neighborhood. You're out there shooting basketballs. You're not bothering him, and for the most part, you didn't think that he was going to bother you. But all of a sudden, guys, can I take a shot? No, man, we don't want anything to do with you. Do they pull up in neighborhoods in Hollywood? Do they pull up in neighborhoods in Palm Springs and ask the white kids to shoot ball with? We want to be left alone just as we are leaving them alone. Just seems to be that for some reason in poor communities or hood urban communities, police feel that they have the need to interact in a way that they shouldn't even be interacting with you. If they let the Jewish communities, if they let the Asian communities go about their business without a lot of interaction, no, I don't want to give you my name, officer. No, I don't want to give you my nickname, officer. No, I don't even want to talk to you. Leave me be. I am not bothering you. The fire department doesn't bother you. The EMTs don't bother you. Why should the police be involved with your activities when you have nothing to do with them? Now, I'm not talking about a kid who's going to the PAL, which is the Police Athletic League, which I don't even know exists anymore. But if you're not there and you have no dealings with the law should leave and let live. They should leave you alone and let you be. Have I been stopped by the police? Yes, I have. Have I been harassed by the police? I'm a New Yorker. That is a for sure. Have I been in situations where they have just detained me for no apparent reason? Not even because I look like somebody, but just because they needed to speak to me and they never even made it clear why they need to speak to me. And so I know the law, at least a little bit of the law, so I shut down on them. You are free to cuff me. You are free to arrest me. You are free to take me to the precinct of your choosing, and we can discuss whatever we need to do while I have an attorney present. Other than that, I have nothing to do with you, Jake. I want nothing to do with you. Where I grew up, it wasn't very popular to be incommunicado with police. If a man is in uniform, and I'm in the neighborhood, and we're talking the 80s and the 90s during the crack era, the last thing you want to do is be sitting on a corner chopping it up with the law. It is detrimental to your physical being, your family's health, to be dealing with Jake in any way, shape, or form. I'm over 50 now. I still maintain the same kind of mentality. I want nothing to do with the police. I have never called 911 personally. I have no reason to call 911. I don't want them in my home. I don't want any activities. I don't want any running into them. I like to keep me and them separate. If they are needed for a reason, do I think that they are needed? Yes. They are women. They are children. They are old people. They do have a function in society. Do I believe that? Yes, I do. I would argue that all day long. Do I say that they are useless? No, I do not. But if you don't have to have dealings with them, leave them alone. At least that's me. I cannot speak for you. I cannot speak for another human being. You might have brothers, sisters, cousins, friends who are on a police force somewhere, and you are more than comfortable dealing with them. I am not comfortable dealing with them. I've never been comfortable dealing with them. They have never made it their business to make it
in a situation where it was comfortable. It was always under threat. It was always under possible physical abuse. It was always under, I will arrest you. Even though I'm a person with a clean record, and we'll get to that later on. But I just want to say, you know what? It's nice to be able to be black in America. And Jake just leave you the fuck alone, like he would leave everybody else the fuck alone. But I think it's part of the job description. I really do believe that it's part of the job description. When you face tough times in your life, how do you handle them? That's rhetorical. That's not for you to answer to me. I'm not asking you to respond in any way, shape, or form by you telling me what you do when you come against hard times, tough times, difficult times. Do you deal with them with hope? Do you handle them and say, oh, you only see despair? Does your faith kick in? Do you doubt? Do you pray a lot? Are you a crier? Do you just give up and give in? Or do you fight like hell? Or do you even try to just ignore the hard, tough times? Because in every life there shall be some. Money does not evaluate how your times are going. Some of the richest people in the world have no health. Some of the poorest people in the world have the greatest health. And it just goes like that. It's what you say is a tough time, because what's a tough time for you might be a cakewalk for the next person and vice versa. That's just the way it goes. But we're going to get into this a little deeper. We're going to get into this a little later because I have a story about some people who went through some tough times. I don't know them personally, but it resonates with me as a black male in America, and it's going to fit into this. Sometimes tough times don't affect you, but you see somebody going through tough times. If you can be an arm, an ear, a voice, a sounding board for someone else, do that. Be kind to your fellow man, as kind as they would allow you to be. Because you can't push kindness, but if you can be kind to somebody who is desperate, somebody who is hurting, somebody who is hungry, somebody who is lonely, you know what? Say something to a homeless person if you see one. You might be the only person all day long who speak to them. Just say, how you doing, man? Let them know that somebody under this sun, under the moon cares enough. The show has not changed in any way, shape, or form. I just pick a couple of minutes each show to make sure that I talk about something that's on my mind. Now, I will continue to talk about news, sports, politics, what's going on in the world, who's passed away, things of that nature. But I do have to take a moment of each show to talk about something that might be a bug in my mind. It's not any advice that you must follow. It is not something that is gospel to you, but maybe it might make sense and maybe it doesn't make sense, and it'll make you stronger in your commitments to doing what you're doing. And today I like to talk just briefly about playing the blame game. Not even taking one bit of responsibility and accepting the consequences for our actions. For every action, there's a consequence, no matter what it is. You eat, the consequences of eating is that you will build up waste, and you also may fill your body with nutrients. You might also cause something that is wrong to get escalated, because it could be the wrong food or it could be the right foods. That's just an example. You drink, you might get drunk. These are things that we have to accept as facts. You might also have a beautiful, mellow day. So it depends on who you are and how you conduct yourself. But the fact that people don't seem to take any responsibility for their actions it puzzles me. As we get to be adults, we have to come to conclusion that cause and effect is real, that it's all right, that you did something, you're an adult. The apologizing all the time is unnecessary. If you believe what you say and you actually take a moment of your time before the words actually come out of your mouth and think them through that beautiful computer that you have as a brain, then what will come out of your mouth will make sense. And you will no longer have to feel the need to constantly apologize because you're taking responsibility for the first thing. You're not trying to take responsibility for how the person feels about what you said, but you're taking responsibility for what came, the thoughts that are in your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit. And you validate yourself every time that you make a point and you stick to that point, that you stand your ground, that you fall on your sword for your thoughts, or you keep your fucking mouth shut. It is all right to keep our mouth shut. I don't understand why we feel that we must speak when we don't have to speak. But that's just me. That's the way I go. Now, I'm sure I'm going to get back to this 380 or the Kimber 9mm micro is a fantastic gun. The Taurus 40 cal Smith & Wesson for the price. I mean, think about this 40 cal. That is stopping power like a motherfucker. And for what I've been told, it might even actually have more kick than the 45. That is a good gun. I mean, you can get that in the I say anywhere between $250, $300 range. But that Kimber, you're gonna pay $600 to $700 for, and that is a beautiful. Not only crafted well, it looks good. Not that it has to look good; it needs to do its job. This is a get off me gun, great backup gun. Maybe it's your EDC. Uh, and you just don't want to carry something big. You walking around with shorts and a t-shirt. This is easy concealable. I am telling you, I'm not telling you secondhand. I'm telling you firsthand. I've had this thing now for at least 3 weeks. I barely even know that I have it with me. It has a, like I said, because it's on the 1911 frame, you got to pull back the hammer. It has a manual safety. Matter of fact, both of these models have manual safeties for those who do not feel comfortable carrying without a safety. You're going to get a safety on both of these. They're both thumb safeties. You can carry it locked and loaded if that's how you want it with the safety on, and you're good to go. Just get a good holster. Make sure that you don't have nothing else in that pocket if you're carrying this Kimber in your pocket. Remember that. Always remember, no change, no keys, no money. Designate that pocket for nothing but that gun and that holster. And never reholster it while the holster's in your pocket and the gun is in your hand. Take the holster out, put it back in, and then put it in your pocket as a unit. Never I was thinking about something. I'm going to tell you. There's a very important question that we have to ask ourselves every morning after we wake up. You get the coal out of your eyes, you brush your teeth, you get yourself situated. Your coffee, it doesn't make a difference how you start your day, praying, meditating, whatever. We have to ask ourselves, who are we? Better yet, who are you? And then you have to be true to whoever it is that you say that you are, that your word is your bond, that if you say that you're an honest, upright person, that you conduct yourself in that manner all day, every day. If you're a thief, then be a thief. And when the consequences falls down upon you, then let them be what they may. And the reason that I brought this up is I've been watching a show called The Chi. A young man on the show is starting to date his best friend's girlfriend. And these are children, 13 to 15 years old. So he started life off with lack of loyalty, no respect for day one. The young lady is putting herself in a position where she's a pass around and she needs to actually look in the mirror, find out who she is. And this young man needs to find out who he is because he has shown that he cannot even be trustworthy to his day one friend. So I just ask you once again, do you have to figure out who you are or do you know who you are? Do you know from the jump every day you wake up that not a different person is looking back at you in the mirror, but you are sound and assured that the person that you see in the mirror, you know them. You know them. You're honest with, if you're not honest with anybody else in the world, you're deadly honest with that person 100% of the time. And see, when we can do that, when we learn to do that, we can become better to ourselves. We have a responsibility to be as good to ourselves as humanly possible. Can you stomach being broke but doing nothing about having no money?
then that's who you are. I mean, if enough is never enough, you have to figure that out also. There are so many keys to the puzzle. There are so many pieces that have to be properly placed on this puzzle, this mosaic of life, so that life is not hard. To make life easy, the easiest thing that you can do in life is just be who you are, but you have to accept who you are first. Your faults, your strong points, and your weaknesses. You can build up your weaknesses if they're character based. You cannot do anything about your DNA. You can do nothing about your genetics. You can't wake up one day if you're 5'4" and say, I'm going to be 6'9". It doesn't happen like that. We know that. I know I'm not talking to a fool, so I'm not trying to play you that way. But the things about us that we can change, we can change. If you don't like your body, resculpt your body. Change your diet. You don't like the way your skin is, then work on your skin. I mean, there is no such thing as winter feet, people. Keep your fucking feet proper all year round. I mean, that's just an example. You don't have to wait for certain times. There's no winter body and then summer body. You're just going to go crazy working out like a lunatic to try to get yourself to where you feel. So once again, people, before I get out of here, just look in that mirror. You ain't got to do it for me because I'm nobody to you. But to do it for yourself, trust me, it will change your life. Just take the next 7 days. Every time you look in that mirror in the morning and you say, hey, who are you? What are you about? What exactly are you about? And then live it. Whatever you say that you are about, because our voices have power. If you're a religious person, the world, mankind was built on words. Just the word of God alone spoke into existence things. Speak something to existence into that person in the mirror. Be you male or be you female. Speak it into existence that you are good, you are strong, you can succeed, and there's nothing that you cannot do within reason. Like I said, don't be fooled. You can't go from 5'1" to 6'9". See, we have to be realistic about who and what we
just a
say
little
we
bit
are
about, and
what
it's not going to be the whole show. No topic has ever dominated the whole show. It's just I don't get down like that. I'm a various subject podcast. I'm an expert on nothing. I just speak my mind. I speak my heart. I speak my truth. But I want to talk a little bit about what separates true friends from those who are just acquaintances. I hear grown adults, and I'm talking about people over 35, call almost everybody that they know under the sun their friend. I find that to be highly ridiculous. A friend has to come with some responsibility. A friendship has to come with some kind of code. It has to come with some kind of honor. It has to come with some kind of trust that you just cannot give to somebody that you live next door to for 10 years. You might not know anything about them. They might not know anything about you. They might not be there when you need them. And see, that's what separates friends from acquaintances. Sometimes a friend cannot make it to a situation because of logistics. They could be around the world, somewhere in another place of the world, and they can't get to you at a drop of a hat. But their feelings, their emotions, their reaching out to you will still exist. And see, an acquaintance might not reach out to you in a time of need. They might not even acknowledge you in any sort of pain or suffering. And they won't speak their truth to you. See, a friend will pull your card when your shit stinks. They will let you know, hey, this ain't solid, bro. And I don't care how you feel. I'm only saying it out of love. An acquaintance might co-sign your bullshit at all times. They don't care. They just want to keep the acquaintance going. They don't care about ever going to a deeper level. I'm not talking anything about money. Money doesn't make friends. Money doesn't make acquaintances. Money makes enemies and people who are subservient to you. When you loan money to other people, depending on your nature, they become subservient to you. You have power over them. You have something that you can hold over their heads. So money does not make friendships. That is not a true sign to me of friendships. Am I an expert on friendships? No, I do not. I am not. Let me say that again. I am no expert on friendships. I really have not had a lot of deep friendships in my life. This is mostly by choice. I don't trust people. I have never trusted people since I was a child. So it's very hard to get to know me. And it's definitely very hard to get to the point where I will confide in you because I don't confide in people. I'm one of those people who suppress and hold in things. I keep shit to myself. I am great at secrets. That's why I'm good at being loyal. Loyalty to me is one of the strongest suits that a human being can have towards another. Somebody told me a secret in 1974. I have still not told that. But I want to ask a question. Should you trust your gut instincts? I mean, your gut instinct is your primal wisdom. It is your primal wisdom. When something is going wrong, or if you should do something to help somebody, your gut kicks in. Now, it's different from intuition. Intuition is your spiritual wisdom. If you have been raised in some kind of spiritual manner, or you have some kind of deep seated religious beliefs, that's where your intuition comes in. Now, I'm not saying that anybody is clairvoyant. I am not getting into that. I'm not saying that you're predicting anything about the future, because we're going to get into some reasons why your gut can be wrong and how your gut can be right. Now, your gut is going to give you immediate understanding of something that is going wrong. And I'm talking about danger and fear. It might make you hypervigilant. Now, this is your gut instincts. When you're in a situation where you know that it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you see a crowd of 5 young men standing in front of you, they're loud and they're boisterous, and they might seem intoxicated, or you already know that you have beef with one of them. That's when your instinct is going to kick in. You're going to become vigilant. You're going to know that there's danger ahead, and you're going to handle it hopefully accordingly if you listen to your gut instinct. Now, your intuition might say, you know what? They're children of God. They're not going to do anything, blah, blah, blah. And it might lead you down a dirty road. You know what? Also, when your gut instinct kicks in and it tells you about danger, it's going to give you the right choices that you may need to make. You might need to help somebody. You might feel that something in your body is wrong, it's just not right, but you can't overthink. And the first thing that you should do with your gut instinct, if you're going to trust it, is never overthink. Avoid should have, could have, would have. Take time, slow down. Uh, don't allow your prejudice and unconscious bias to kick in, because you might look at that group who are just having fun, and they could be of another nationality, and they're just having fun, but you have a deep-seated prejudice or bias against a certain type of person, and you might think that they're thinking about you when they're not thinking about you at all. So you have to be able to listen to your inner voice, slow that inner voice down to say, hey, why do I feel the way I feel? You must evaluate the situation. You have to take a moment, because while brains are like computers, they can process information quick. It doesn't take 10 minutes to get a gut instinct. It takes instant. The hairs on your arm might stand up. You might get goosebumps. You might get the sweats. I mean, there are a lot of things that happen. But you must slow down so you can clearly hear your inner voice. Notice how your body is reacting in situations, and that will allow you to trust. I mean, because here's the thing, we have to realize that we cannot trust people's words. We have to trust people's patterns, and patterns give you understanding, and then you have to take action. If you are a person who takes no action whatsoever, if you know it's right to help somebody and you don't help, if you know it's right to leave a situation alone and you don't leave it alone, you're not even trusting the things that are built in you, because we have a fight or flight built in all human beings who have normal functioning brains. There are people who don't have empathy, who don't have sympathy. They don't have the same manner to process that you and I may have. So you cannot blame them
for not being able to know that fire is hot. It's just something that's wired in them to know. We already know you don't grab anything that's boiling red hot with your hand. You don't have to be taught that. You were taught that and you learned that a long time ago. It is now a part of your being. You know not to walk in a 5-lane traffic against the light. These are things you just know. So take some time. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't allow prejudice and bias to overrule rational thought. And then you could spend a couple of minutes before I get to the normal show. And that's when to talk to podcasters, people who are YouTubers, vloggers per se, about royalty-free, copyright-free music, as opposed to public domain music. I got a strike against me. Wasn't a permanent strike, but on YouTube I got a strike. And I'm not even a big YouTuber because I don't do a video per se. I do a podcast, old school, just talking to a mic podcast. But I got a copyright violation strike. And I thought I had a license. I'm in agreement that I have a license. This was the profession that I chose. I worked in for many years, almost 20 years. I worked in the trademark industry. I worked in the patent industry. So I have a license to use the music, and maybe I should be giving the person credit in the footnotes that I'm using this song, which I will start doing. But here's the gist of it. Royalty-free and copyright-free music will cost you. If you do not get a license, it's best that you go out and buy your own clip of sounds. If you want to make money on it, I don't do this to make money, but if you want to make money and this is something that you see as a profession, go out and pay. Don't violate anybody's rights. Don't violate anybody's correct or ability to create, and you take it upon yourself to just use it willy-nilly. That is not fair. It's not right. It's not something I believe in. It's not something that I want to do. I actually disputed the copyright infringement violation because I have a copy of the license. The man gave me permission. We went back and forth. He said I could use it whenever, however, for as long as I ever wanted to use it, and I have the paperwork to prove it. But copyright-free music is not truly free music. Public domain music is the same as copyright-free. No, I'm sorry. Copyright-free music is truly free music. Let me say that again. Copyright-free music is truly free music. Public domain music is the same as copyright-free music. These are songs that nobody wants to profit off of, or the copyrights have ran out, like ABC, 1, 2, 3, and Happy Birthday. Those are free for anybody to use because they are public domain. Now, royalty-free music is not completely free. You might be able to use it, but you don't have the ability to know the law in every single country, do you? Maybe you're brighter than I am, and you know the law in every other country, because what happens is the person who owns that music has the ability to profit off of what you do with that music. They can ask you to pay them royalties for it every time it's played. And in some countries, unlike the US, they're not going to abide by our copyright laws. So be very careful. Be mindful of what you do. Somebody took the time, the energy, and the talent to create something. You don't have the right to take it from them and just use it any way you want. And then when you're called out on it, you can't scream, shit, shake, and holler and say, you know what, I didn't know. You knew. You didn't create that beat. Now, me personally, I hate the beat creators online, these programs you can download. They make them seem like they're super easy to use, and they're not really super easy to use. I really love the intro music that I have. It's very short. It's only 16 seconds long, but I love it. I had another song previous to that when I was doing another podcast called Our World with Strange Talk and Doc. Netboy and Doc. Damn, what is going on with me today? But we had another song,
And come to find out, that guy pulled his rights because he wanted to now, I guess he signed with a music company and he wanted to be able to have the ability to use all the music he created. And I had no choice but to respect that. He created it, it's his right, and that's what it is. A big fan of YouTube podcasters and vloggers from around the world. I do listen to other people. I do watch videos from other podcasters and vloggers. But what I'm not understanding is the begging of money. People have over 100,000 subscribers. They get millions of viewers. Yet they ask their audience to support their lifestyle as though this is a permanent full-time gig. I don't think it's right. And I don't think that people should feel obligated in any way, shape, or form to give money to people to play slot machines, to eat food, to drink. These are things that they decided to do, and they should be able to afford the lifestyle that they are vlogging about. Because anybody can live a fake lifestyle if it's supported by others. And not just that, they're selling you merchandise, they're receiving money from sponsors that you don't even know about because they're listed all underneath their captions. Not only that, they're receiving a salary for the views on these videos. And that should be a support enough. Now, the ones that you can really tell are doing it, and I won't mention any names, that I will not do. But when they go through these long vlogs, we talking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. This is almost like televangelism. They're doing a telethon to see how many fish are out there that's willing to give that 20, 50, $100. And you know what? I'm not shitting on their hustle. It's their hustle and it's what they do, but there has to be a sense of pride. And I noticed that the biggest YouTubers out there, none of them have Patreon. None of them have PayPal because they support themselves. They have enough faith in themselves that they will make money by doing a proper show, that they will make money by being entertaining enough that people come back. Viewership is cash. Viewership is cash. There is no need to ask your audience. Okay, merchandise is one thing. Even big major corporations have merchandise, and I have no problem with merchandise sale because that's the way a person supports you. But why is Joe Blow sitting at home and I'm in Vegas and I want to play a slot and you're sending me $40? Why? Because if you want to look at one thing about the YouTubers who ask for money or have money options, none of them actually spend a dime in your presence. You never see them eating. You never see them gambling. You never see them at bars. You never see them at clubs. They're walking around just waiting for you to go into your pocket as though it's a form of begging. And I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. And the ones that I did support and all the beggars, I no longer support them because I just can't vibe with that. I cannot vibe with the fact that a person is asking another person to support their lifestyle. I mean, if you really think about it and you think about it hard, they're already being compensated. These corporations are allowing them to go into their property that they do not own, that they're paying no electricity, no light, no gas, and they're being allowed to film, which gives them the opportunity. They're getting free rooms, they're getting free all kinds of little freebies that we don't even, the general public don't even know about. And some of them are claiming to be paying for this out of pocket. When in essence, what all they're doing is a commercial for the corporation, Caesars or MGM. And you know what? The Vegas vloggers are the most guilty. They are the most guilty because the people that do like hot sauce and mud bangs, for the most part, they are paying for their own meals. They're not asking you, buy me a meal and I'll eat it for you. And this is the way I make bank. So, you know what? Fuck all the begging vloggers. Fuck all of the begging YouTubers. Fuck all of the begging podcasters. I wouldn't even beg you to subscribe, like, or share my podcast.
let alone ask you for your hard-earned money. There are ways and money that can be spent that can go to good causes. There's boys and girls clubs. There are starving people in this world. And you're throwing good money to people who are living a life already. They're driving cars. They have a place to stay. And it makes no fucking sense. This is a new form of the red cup standing on a corner. But instead of standing on a corner, they're doing it with a fucking video. They're doing it with a phone. But the thing about it, the technology is that they're making money all over the place. They're not letting you know about it. And then they're making it seem like they're doing you a favor by letting you watch them. I mean, damn, porn is free. So being able to watch a motherfucker walk up and down the Now strip we're gonna get on to Las Vegas, people. It's time to talk about Las Vegas. First of all, I flew on JetBlue. JetBlue is kind of funny and sad at the same time. JetBlue actually did like a 3-minute commercial on the flight going to Vegas at the end of the trip for you to sign up for their JetBlue card. I thought it was fucking ridiculous. We're sitting there, we're chilling, we're watching a movie. You know, they give you one snack, and I mean one fucking snack, one small stack. They have water on board, but it's not individual bottles of water. It's a bottle of water that they share in cups with everybody. We're in COVID-19 and they owe one bottle of water, $1 billion corporation, not even little nips, say 10-ounce nips. You can give that to everybody. But no, this is like a bottle of water that you could buy at Walgreens or CVS, and then they just pour it in cups and give it to you. So as far as that went, that sucked. But the TV, they have direct TV. So you got all these channels, you got all these movies. They have HBO shows, Showtime shows, so you can keep up with stuff like that. I mean, the seats are more comfortable. You get a little bit more distance in the seats. It seems like they have improved the air plane itself. But I mean, I understand that they don't want to give you food and stuff, but the shared bottle of water and one fucking snack, one 3-ounce snack for hundreds of dollars didn't make sense. McCarran's Airport is definitely suffering from a lack of workers. So many stores were closed, and I am talking about we landed at 11:30 Vegas time. Stores closed, up and down. Coming back, I'm gonna hit both sides. Coming back, there was barely anything open but fucking Quiznos. Now this is a huge airport. Maybe they don't give as much attention to the JetBlue Delta terminal as they do the others, but this was kind of bad and sad. Where I left from, Raleigh, North Carolina, had more stores open than a 24/7 town, which made no sense. Now, you might have seen online, especially YouTubers like to promote this, that there's free play at certain hotels for your birthday. Well, it was my wife's birthday, and supposedly Park, Excalibur, and Luxor give you free play on the week of or the day of your birthday. That's bullshit. That's no more right now. None of them are doing that. This is straight facts. None of them are doing it right now. So if you're seeing a video and somebody's claiming that, they're pulling your card, they're playing with you. It's an old video to begin with. It has not been updated. They should go in there and update, even in just the description, that this was procedure pre-pandemic. Right now, it's not happening. Vegas is a huge vaping town. Humongous vaping town. And the fucking vape smells like marijuana. I don't know, maybe it is marijuana. I'm not a pothead aficionado, and I don't really care. If kids and young people or middle-aged people want to smoke weed, that does not bother me. But, I mean, it's just a foul smell, and you smell it everywhere. Everywhere you go, you smell this one smell. The Eiffel Tower light show was my first time seeing it. I think it's pretty nice, and if you got 5 minutes of your life, grab your camera, your phone, whatever, tape it so you could have a copy. It's a beautiful display. You got the fountains on one side, you got the Eiffel Tower display light show going on the other side. The Bellagio Conservatory, was in great shape. It looked beautiful as usual, but I know that they were closing it on 8/28 to do it up for fall. I don't know how long that's going to take. I went over to Big Owl's. Big Owl's is at the Orleans Hotel. I love Big Owl's. You go over there, eat seafood. It's not ridiculously priced. It's fairly priced. But while we're eating dinner, we look over and there's a guy with his ass crack completely out. I mean, both ass cracks. And if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a picture connected so you can see that I'm not jiving you. So you're sitting there, I'm eating my crab cakes and my clams on the half shell. And I look over and there's this big fat white ass just sitting out on the chair. You know what, people? Wear proper drawers. Wear proper underwear. Cinch up your belt. It's not a crime to own a belt and underwears that actually fit your body. So this clown, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done it. It might have been wrong, but I had to take a picture. Matter of fact, I took several pictures. New York Hotel. If you do not know, between Thursday and Sunday night, I believe 9, 10 o'clock to like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, there is a live DJ. It is a good scene. It's a party scene. It's indoors, so it's climate control. It's beautiful. Gonzalez and Guy Gonzalez over there is jamming. There's Latin music. New York is a very good place to go. Even if you're not staying at the hotel, just come over there on Thursday through Sunday. You can party down. There's people from all over the world. It's a beautiful scene. There's bathrooms accessible everywhere you look. A center bar that kicks out. I mean, we used to be big Harrah's Carnival Court people. Carnival Court, from the pictures that I've seen, is in sad shape. It looks like a Trump rally every time. You never see a person of any color. The only color that you ever see there is white. The bands are the same bands that were there 10 years ago, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the Whippets. I mean, there's nothing new. There's nothing fresh. They don't even open to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, so right now, I'm not touching Harrah's Carnival Court with a 10-foot pole. I found here's another one. People pump the Ocean One Grill. And I understand the Ocean One Grill could be a great place. But what you need to be told is this. They open at 11:30. If you want to have those $5 lunches, make sure your ass is there by 10:30. Stand there, talk to the people that's in your life, or get on your phone, do whatever you have to do. But do not believe that these people are just walking through the front door. It's a very busy place. See, that's a myth and a lie. People make it seem like they just walked up and went in and got a seat. It's not happening. When we got there, say 11:15. There might have been a 40-minute line in front of us. So we went and got into the joint at 1 o'clock. And you know what? I'm not so desperate to eat anything that I'm going to wait 45 minutes for a $5 meal. I'm saying to myself, you know what? I can eat the same shit somewhere else. So we moved on. The Fulton Fish Market, America, and Chin Chin at New York are all worth your time and your money. I got 2 orders of fish and chips, but was not that bad. For $24, I thought that was great. Chin Chin, I ate lunch there at least 2 times. America is 24/7, so you can go in there and get breakfast after hanging out, or you could even get off their late meal early in the morning. I mean, it's well worth it. I really like it. Now, what I would tell you is if you're a non-alcoholic drinker and you are in New York, you might want to drink somewhere else. They make the worst non-alcoholic drinks. I mean, they don't have what I call mixologists. They have what I call bartenders. Bartenders seem to follow a menu to the T. So their drinks taste like all fucking pineapple juice. It was miserable. I couldn't even drink. After, one day I drank nothing but water. I'm not a drinker, so I drank nothing but water one entire day because I was near the hotel. When I went to places like Palazzo, they could throw down. They had real mixologists. Circa had real mixologists. So if you tell them, listen, I don't drink alcohol, could you make me something? They could make you something beautiful. And we're talking $4 or $5 because there's no alcohol in it. That's one thing I'm going to give Vegas. They didn't charge me any prices as though it was an alcoholic drink for non-alcoholic drinks, which was kind of shocking because I thought they would. But I guarantee you, if I went to Carnival Court, they would have charged me $11 for a fruit punch. Vegas is definitely suffering from maybe an overworked but very unhelpful staff. Everybody seems to be a little bit nastier than normal, and that includes the cabbies. Cabbies are like shit. You get in the car, no good day, no nothing. You already tipped the dude to get you in the car. At least I do. I tip the guy who opens the door for me to get into the cab. He tells them where I'm going, and then you have to then repeat the same thing that this man just told them. You know he heard them. Hey, I'm going over to Orleans. Where you going? I mean, so minus one or two cabbies, and I must have took 20 while I was there. None of them said a fucking word. They treated you like they didn't want you in town. So I thought that was pretty shitty. I asked for help when I was downtown because we did take the deuce once. So we asked security. You would figure security would know where to catch the deuce going back to the strip. They sent us to the wrong place. It seemed like every time that we asked anybody who was staff anywhere, anything, they were not helpful. You know, okay, here's another one people tell you about. They post videos of all those Maybachs, Rolls Royces at Resorts World. Well, people, I'm here to tell you, all the fucking cars are gone except for one. The only car that was there, and I was there from August 26th to September the 2nd, is the Liberace limousine. The Liberace car, I posted a picture, is the only car left at Resorts World. I found Resorts World to be a grand disappointment. The nicest thing about Resorts World was they do have a lot of games, they do have an open space, and the ball is lovely. The ball changes colors and has shapes and 3D images in it. I thought that was pretty cool. I went over to one of my favorite places, Cosmo, on high recommendation to eat at Henry's. And so Henry opens at 11:30 at night. At first we thought, oh my God, Henry's is not open. We get there 11 o'clock, Henry's closed. But 11:30 they opened. They took care of business. It was we got the short ribs on a bed of hash browns. It was like $20. The meat was so tender and delicious. When I finished the plate, I could have ate another one. It's not like they gave me a small portion. It just was so damn good. So I tip my hat to Henry. And by the way, I would like to give a shout out to Greenberg's, also at New York, New York. If you're looking for a good sandwich, hoagie, hero, whatever you call it where you live, they make a good sandwich at Greenberg. It might be expensive, you know, you might pay $15 for a sub, but they're packed with meat. The bread is very good. They'll even toast it for you. It reminds me of New York, New York, where you can get a hero, lettuce, tomatoes, mayonnaise, and heat it. So I tip my hat to them. One night we were hanging out at New York, late night with the DJ, and a guy comes by me, a girl and two guys. So he gives me the knuckle. I should have known the dude was drunk. When he gives you the knuckle and a total stranger comes up and says, I love you, buddy, you know where it's heading. So these people decide to actually park. And boy, did they get pissed drunk. I am talking about pissed drunk. And they had a young lady with them who had to guide them or tried to guide them for like 2 hours to a cab. I mean, it was hilarious. They were walking around, holding hands, young men, drunk as a skunk. So go have a good time. But don't get so drunk that you forget nights. I mean, you're walking around with your wallet, your credit cards. I mean, and the bartenders at New York, New York, I say they fucked up. This dude was legally, all of them would legally be on the limit, and the bartender was still serving them, still allowing them to go into their wallet and pull out their credit cards when they were pushing and falling all over people. You know what? Making money should never be more important than looking out for another human being, because you don't know if that human being is going to get into a car. How do you know that? There has to be a limit. And I spoke to a bartender about that. He said sleeping at a bar means you're automatically cut off. Falling on people means you should be automatically cut off. So I found this to be really fucking ridiculous. The wildlife habitat at Flamingo. I don't give a fuck what video you just seen. I'm going to post the picture again. Is an abomination. The grass is brown. The water is dirty. The fish are gone. They got crows that look like they on crack hanging out there. The poor flamingos look bad. The fish, there's only like 5 or 6 fucking fish in all those ponds. The hummingbird feeder is gone. But the fountain looks beautiful. The fountain has beautiful water. But everything where the turtles and the ducks and the birds live looks really bad. I mean, it actually brought me down. I was so fucking sad when I left there. I was like, I cannot believe what's going on in Flamingo. I wouldn't stay at Flamingo if they gave me a 7-day free pass until they get their shit together. They are definitely struggling right now. Now, Circa Las Vegas, everybody wants to go in the back and see the pool, the sports pool. Well, I'm going to tell you now, Monday through Thursday, that shit is $20 per person to go back there. Friday through Sunday is $40 per person. So you see these YouTubers go back there and they film it like if though there's no price. But I'm here to tell you there's a price. Once again, Monday through Thursday is $20 per person. Friday through Sunday is $40 per person. This does not come with a drink. This does not come with a bed. This does not come with anything. It comes with nothing. All you get to do is walk back there, or if you have a swim trunk, you can swim back there. Now, maybe if you're staying at an adjacent or family hotel, you don't have to pay these prices, but I'm talking about Joe Blow who just wants to see back there because they've seen so many videos, which was my case. I wanted to go back there and check it out, but I was like, am I paying $40 just to walk around a pool? You got to be joking me, right? But Circa is a beautiful place. I will give it that. The hotel itself was beautiful. The bar, the super long bar was beautiful. The bartenders were cool. They were able to make a fucking drink, non-alcoholic and alcoholic for the wife. I even won some money there, I believe. And I mean, the sports book is spectacular. I got no issues with that. So we did hang out a little bit on Fremont Street, not much, but a little bit. And we ran into a guy that we have been seeing since the 90s. We nicknamed him Fandango. If you ever on Fremont Street and you see this white guy, he wears a beard, like a Zorro hat, a long coat. I don't know how he gets by in this all black outfit in the middle of summer. But we call him Fandango. And we had thought, because we had seen somebody post a video of him a couple of years ago and he looked very ill, but he looked beautiful. We actually seen him. I mean, that was like a bright spot after, after the letdown of the Circle Pool. We come outside, we go in the Golden Nugget. And by the way, the Plaza, the Golden Nugget, those motherfuckers are smokehouses, people. Smoke houses. I am talking about you can barely breathe in them. Which brings me to a point. There's this guy who does YouTube slots. And a lot of times he does YouTube slots from the Plaza Hotel. I'm not going to mention his fucking name, right? But I want somebody to explain to me, how could you have your picture all over a casino, including most of the slot machines, but yet you play against the house? Is that legal? I mean, is this dude hired by the hotel as like just advertisement, and his initials is BC. Anybody who would know BC knows that. Matter of fact, the dude is not only on almost every slot in the casino, he's also on the non-smoking sign in the casino. So I'm not understanding that one at all. The Deuce bus line is a long trip. If you take it from the strip to either the mall or you take it to Fremont Street, it's a long, miserable trip. You're better off hopping in a cab. Me personally, I did it just so that I could film myself going up and down the strip. You know, a cab is not going to be as easy to film the whole strip, but it was hot. The week we were there was sizzling, man. I mean, I am talking 104, 105, 107. Some one or two nights, it was like damn near 100 at nighttime. So it was very, very, very hot. The Caesars bathrooms, other than Caesars itself and Planet Hollywood, you could smell the piss smell before you entered the bathrooms. I mean, I'm not jiving you people. They're seriously understaffed. Are they ready for the world? No, they're not. They're not conducting themselves as though they're ready full time. Like I said, I stayed at New York, New York. Only one day of the 7 days did housekeeping even call to find out if we needed our room clean. Thank God, only thing we ever needed was them to take the garbage and give us new towels and stuff. We handled that ourselves, and we let them clean once. Because think about it, if you were home, do you change your towels every day? Probably not. If you're honest, do you change your bedding every day? Probably not. If you're honest. So we did get them, and they were kind enough to just wrap them up in a bag and leave it on the door. So they didn't even have to enter. We didn't have to breathe their air. They didn't have to breathe our air. But the place is seriously, like I said, understaffed. Every place is understaffed. Now, I will say this. I am not the friendliest guy. People probably think that I'm intense or standoffish, and that's on them. That's not on me. I'm a fair person. If a person treats me properly, I treat them with the same respect. I don't give a fuck where you're from. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how small you are. But what I did find out, again, I've had conversations with people all over the world, India, China, like I said, all over the fucking world, right? All nationalities. Matter of fact, we met some nice people from Alaska. First time I ever had a conversation with Native Alaskans. It was fun. What, as a black man in America, I can't get a conversation with a black person. All other black men seem to do is cut their fucking eye at you. You know, like every black man looks at the next black man as some kind of threat, as we pose a threat. I don't see white people conducting themselves that way. I don't see Hispanics conducting themselves that way. I don't see Asians conducting themselves that way. Now, we talk about being woke and proud and unapologetically black, but we spend too much fucking time side-eyeing each other. You know, I think I spoke to one black person in 7-day span who did not work somewhere, and he only spoke to me because he liked my sneakers. He thought my sneakers was hot. I had on some Jordans. But other than that, every time that I crossed path with a black person, it was like they were trying to look me up and down from head to toe. And you know what? I'm a little bit tired of that kind of bullshit. We really need to get past that. I did win some money here and there. Did I break the bank? No. Do these YouTubers show you that every day they make these massive jackpots? Sure. If you put enough money in the machine, eventually you were going to hit some form of a jackpot. I mean, not a jackpot, but a bonus or something like that. And when you do, I guess that's when they start filming. They go home, they do the serious editing to make it seem like they won so much, but they never let you know how much they lost. I mean, you know, I won 80 here, 140 there, 120 here. I won a bet for 260 on golf. Matter of fact, I like to congratulate Patrick Chanley. He beat Bryson DeChambeau while we were there in the BMW Championship. It took 6 playoff holes, and we sweating it out because we didn't have Bryson DeChambeau to win, but we had Patrick Chanley to win, and he won, and that bet paid out $260 for every $10, and I was happy to collect that. And
I
then
want to start off
yesterday,
by asking,
why not you? And why not me? Why me and why not you? See, people love to ask the question, why not, why me or why not me? And I'm going to just come up real briefly with some answers to this question. I'm going to start with why not you? Why not you? Maybe you don't put in the work. Maybe you are not skill set for what you're trying to do. Maybe you're not willing to sacrifice everything that it possibly takes to be successful in whatever endeavor that you plan on getting involved in. Are you willing to put the work, the sweat, the study, the sleepless hours into it? So why not me? The same exact reasons. And maybe DNA. Maybe DNA genetics are holding you back or holding me back from obtaining a particular goal. If you want to be able to dunk 360 and you're 4'11", you might not ever get the possibility of doing it. We have to know our limitations. That's why not me and not why not you? Okay, so why me and then not you? Maybe I work harder. Maybe I lose all the sleep that needs to be lost to obtain a goal. See, now these things go both directions. It's not like I'm bigging myself up and downing anybody else. This is just giving you my thought pattern on it. Are you willing to study? Are you willing to sacrifice? Put away fun for work. I mean, these are some of the reasons we do not succeed. This is some of the reasons we do not get where we go. And then we ask the stars, we ask God, we ask whatever higher power that we pray to, why not me? You know what? Why not you? Because sometimes you don't deserve it. Let's be honest. Sometimes it's not your time. Sometimes it should not go your direction. It should not go your way. It's not like you're cursed. Maybe you just need to refocus, retool, think about another avenue that you need to travel down. It's not a bad thing. It's just something to make you think. When you say, why can't I keep a long term relationship? Are you a cheater? Are you an abuser? Are you a person who lies to your mate? And then you have the answers. I came up with this list. It's a pros and cons of anything that you want to get involved in. Quite simple. You take a sheet of paper. One side you list every pro why you should do something. And then on the other side you list every con of doing what you said you was going to do, the repercussions. Then you list every con and then you list every pro. Read this thing back several times. And after you read this thing back several times, meditate on it. Be deadly honest about your answers. You will come up with the answer to your own question about whatever endeavor it is you are trying to get in. Why don't my kids love me? Maybe you don't show them love. Why do nobody at work want to be around you? Maybe you're a nasty motherfucker. Maybe you always talk behind people's backs. We have to be honest of who we are. Now, if we come out with pluses next to our names and we're deadly, I said deadly honest, and you come out with pluses next to your name and things still don't go in your direction, then you can't sweat it. Now you have to figure out why you're doing it. Why are you doing it? Are you doing it out of love? Are you doing it out of necessity? Are you doing it out of you want some kind of notoriety? Or you just saying, you know what, I love it so much that if it never even goes anywhere, I don't care. See, that's a part of this thing with podcasting. Everybody's not going to be a Jake Paul. Everybody's not going to be a Joe Rogan. But there's going to be millions of us who are going to continue to do it because we enjoy doing it. I don't need any kind of accolades to continue to get behind this mic, put on these headphones, and talk into this thing and tell you my gut, honest opinion about situations that are going on in the world. My bug is going to be personal, but then it affects you or anybody who's listening also. I'm a black male, and I'm very proud of that. I don't even know what that 100% means. I was born black. I was born a male. I have no control over either one of those. Those were predetermined for me. But because I turned out the way that I am very proud of who I am and what I am. Okay, so I guess that clarifies it. But I also love golf. This is a game that I've been ostracized. I've been made fun of because there's no way a black male from quote unquote the streets, the ghetto, is supposed to love a game called golf. I grew up in a time before Tiger Woods. There was no Tiger Woods, even though I heard of plenty of Tiger Woods jokes. I could not get my friends to come partake in it. I've always had to play this game with others, meaning Hispanics or whites. I could never get a young brother from the neighborhood who was my age to come partake, even going to driving range. I know that things have gotten better and people now partake in things that they didn't normally do. But to get to you, to get to the world, to get to everybody, don't let what you were born dictate what you will do. You have the right to enjoy anything that is legal, that is out there, that you can afford, that you enjoy, that you're willing to put equity, sweat, and tears into learning, perfecting the best of your abilities, and having a good time. This is called life. And nobody has the right to tell you if you're black, you can't listen to polka. If you're white, you can't listen to hip hop, or you can't dance and live a hip hop lifestyle. We let others, outsiders, put restrictions on us that do not belong. They don't have the right. They don't have the ability. We have to take back all the power. If it is something, like I said, that is legal and you enjoy it, you have the right to partake in it. You don't steal somebody else's culture. And I don't consider golf white culture. I just consider it a game. I was not having a lot of access to this game as a youth growing up. I didn't know much about it. One day I caught the bug, and the bug is still there 30-something years later. I love it. I just brought my own clubs in 2020. First time that I ever had tailor-made clubs. Not meaning the brand tailor-made, but tailored to me, tailored to my body, to my swing. I've owned about 5 sets of golf clubs, and every time that I get a new set, I bless somebody with my old set. No charge, just because I want to see more and more people pick up this game. I grew up a football player. I grew up a boxer. I wasn't the world's best basketball player, but I was a decent enough basketball player to play 3-on-3s, some little 5-on-5s. I even played in the Lawyers League. But basketball is not my forte. It's just something that I could do. It was fun. Everybody in the neighborhood did it. But we get older. When you get in your late 40s, early 50s and beyond, you might not be able to play football anymore. You might not be able to wrestle anymore. You might not be able to do some of the athletic things that you used to be able to do with no issues and no problems. So it's all right to pick up a hobby that you might be able to enjoy into your senior years. And I'm so glad that I did this, not only with the podcasting, but with the golf. So like I said, once again, I'm not going to belabor the point. Don't let anybody dictate to you because of where you come from and who you are, the nationality, your skin tone, what you should and should not be involved in. If you truly love it, you will find time for it, you will learn it, you will invest in it, and you will try to be the very best. You're not trying to take anything away from power is watching you at all times. Don't take that in, like I said before, the wrong way. It does not mean it's eyes that are watching to judge you. There's also eyes that are watching to bless you. There are eyes that are watching to help you. So there's a yin for every yang. It's not always a bad thing. So if you in a time of trouble, you say those same eyes that discipline me will tap me on the back, will raise me up. So think about that. And before you do something, think about what you're going to do, the repercussions of your actions, how you're going to make others feel, What is it going to do to your eternal soul? And how are you willing to accept the repercussions for your actions? Because there are consequences for actions. We have to be realistic about that. And we could teach others better if we use our minds, we use our power, we use our judgments, and people see inside your judgments wise decisions. You can be a leader of men. I noticed that this week a lot. People bold-faced lie. We're going to get to lying. Don't believe people's words. Believe their patterns. Believe their actions, because that's where you're going to see the truth. If somebody says that they're not going to do something, but they consistently do it anyway, you can trust what they do over what they say. Forget what they say. Hot air blows out of most people's mouths, and it's bullshit. Enough is enough. Don't let nobody in your life, nobody at your job, nobody in your family, nobody you hang out with, fool you by continuously doing things that they say that they're not doing. Don't play the fool for nobody. Everybody's too damn intelligent to be played dumb, because actions speak volumes. They speak loud. They scream at you. All you got to do is study the person's patterns. I didn't say don't distrust anybody or trust anybody, but they'll let you know if they're distrustful. They'll let you know if they're honest, if they're forthright, if they have something to give to your life. And the people who no longer have anything to give in your life in 2021, as we close out this year, close them out. Close the door on them. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to dislike them. You don't have to fight with them. You don't have to fuss with them. But it's time to move forward in a positive manner. And if you move forward in a positive manner, you will carry positive people with positive energy with you. You can leave all the trash behind. There's a place for trash. Trash does exist. Some people are trash, and it is all right to leave them in the dust. Today, proper judgments mean that you look at every single angle, if you're going to be honest and fair in your final decisions. That means if you're buying a purchase, a big purchase, a home, if you're breaking up or starting a relationship, if you are literally leaving a job or judging an individual in some shape, form, or fashion, look at every single angle. Do a 360, a 180, 720. It does not make a difference. Don't look at what you just see, go off emotions, and then make a judge. You might come back and it might bite you in the ass. So if you take the time to just look at everything from every angle, sometimes angles don't coincide with what we think they should be, but they might be proper judgment. And that will allow your final decision on anything that you do to be just, fair, and honest. This way, you don't have to be sorry about the decisions you make, because you are steadfast in knowing that you did all your due diligence to make sure that this was a wise decision. That's what separates people in this earth. The fools from the people who use some form of wisdom. Wisdom has to be a part of your makeup. It has to be a part of who you are to have any form of success in doing anything. I didn't say you had to be brilliant. You had to be a genius. Just wisdom is just making the smart choice at the right time, the proper decision that causes the least amount of discomfort, and also the least amount of falsehood to slip through the cracks. I'm going to take the discomfort part back out, because sometimes honesty hurts, man. Being deadly honest with somebody might cut them like a knife. It is a sword. It has been said many times by much more intelligent people, brilliant people. Truth is a sword, and it cuts throats. It cuts to the bone, to the marrow. But if we just do like I said, and I try to live this life too. I will never say something to you that I am not saying first to me. I'm always speaking to myself first before I even speak to you. Hey, what's going on, people? This is Strange Talk with Doc. We're going to do something a little bit different today, just a little different. we're going to deal with some movies you may never have seen. But I feel that you need to see these movies. Don't ask me why. I'm just saying you need to see these movies. You'll enjoy them. Some of them are going to be subtitles. Some of them are going to be horror. Some of them are going to be thrillers, westerns, comedies, all the genres. But what we're not going to deal with is the Godfathers of the world. The movies that everybody and their mother know that you should have seen. These might be movies that have been overlooked, but I think that they should be checked out. Topical program where I deal with what's going on in the world of entertainment, sports, news, media, politics. I get my RIPs. I talk about any subject matter, movies, television. I do no gossiping. I do no rumors. I do no innuendos. I do like to start off each show with something to think about, because I think that if I don't give you something, or myself something to think about, and I pass away at a later date and somebody listens, they say, why was he so vapid? Why was he so self-absorbed that he felt that he should do a podcast, but yet share no information that is useful? So my ability to do that is to just come up with a quick thing, a very quick header. I don't belabor it. I don't beat it into the ground, but I might refer to it over and over again through the course of talking about other things. And this week is going to be, the grind is hard, but the reward is sweet. Just because you grind hard, just because you hustle hard, does not mean that you will reap a sweet reward. That is not a guarantee. Hard work sometimes does not pay off. That's unfortunate, but it is an honest reality. Sometimes you work very hard, and sometimes it's only going to be a labor of love for you. It reaches no one else, and you have to live with that. You have to figure out, can you take it? But it says also, in due seasons we will reap if we do not give up. So you must not give up. You must not give in. You must not feel like failure is the end. Failure is a learning point in which you can figure out some steps that you are taking that are leading you in the wrong direction. Because many are planned in the minds of man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. Okay, so it is not your purpose to begin with. And when you say that you grind hard and you go at it hard, you hustle hard, give some credit to others who help, including your God. Whoever your God may be, give him some credit. Give them the most credit. You know, when you went to school and you got that grade point average, you got your degree, and you landed that job. Think about those professors. Think about those study mates. Think about that person who stood across from you at that interview table, who gave you the opportunity. It's never just you. Never be so arrogant to think it's only you. Because if anyone thinks he or she is somebody, they are nothing. You are doing nothing but deceiving yourself. So I want you to take that into consideration. Just think about that for a moment, even if you have to rewind what I just said, because I speak off the cuff. I don't speak off no written word. I don't speak with a agenda that I am smarter than you, that I am better than you, that I am greater than you. No, I am one of the least. And this time is going to be, can I afford to pay what it costs? That refers to anything in life. That involves relationships, physical prices of items, physical activity. Can you afford the cost? Can you afford the cost of being 45 years old and playing in a basketball league, maybe breaking your leg, and you're the breadwinner in your family? Can you afford the cost of quitting a job that you have because of pride, or you feel you were slighted in some way or another instead of working things out? Can you afford to leave a relationship with children involved, thinking that you might be able to still maintain that relationship with these children, and that the mother or her family won't get in the way of you seeing these children? So we have to think about that. And the reason I think about that is because New Year's is coming up, Christmas is coming up, Kwanzaa is coming up, and I say happy Merry Christmas to you. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy New Year's. I will speak to you again because I am doing a closeout of 2021, the year in review, on December 30th at 9 a.m., which is a Thursday. I will be doing a wrap-up of the year that was 2021. I feel I am putting a shout out to anyone who wants to call in, contact me. There might be something that I forgot that you think is very important that should be documented that happened in 2021. It could be personal, it could be political, it could be sports related. I don't care. It could be from the news, media, sports. It does not make a difference to me. I would love to hear from you. But we have to always take into consideration what something costs. I have a birthday coming up. I never thought that I was even going to make it past my 35th birthday. Don't tell me why I had this reoccurring dream all through my youth. So it caused me to live in a manner that was probably wilder than it should have been, because I didn't think I was going to long-term be on this planet. So I did things that were out of control, out of abnormal, unusual. I will admit it. Did I rob? Did I steal? No, not those type of things, but I'm talking about being wow, just wow. Like my life was over to begin with, so it was nothing to fear. So fear was one of the things that I'm glad that it did not cost me. It gave me the sense of living life without fear. And that was only due to the fact that I thought that my days were numbered. Now, all our days are numbered, but I thought mine was numbered for a young age. I don't know if it was because where I came from, or I just had a reoccurring horror dream and it became reality to me. But like I said, with Kwanzaa coming up, with Christmas coming up, with New Year's coming up, we have to take into consideration the cost of not only items, but the cost of our behavior. And you always have to ask yourself, can I afford to pay whatever it costs? Can I afford to have a big mouth that spreads rumors? Can I afford to be a gossiper? You have to take these things into consideration, or we should take these things into consideration. Forgive me, I never mean to talk at you and tell you what you should or should not do. So I apologize wholeheartedly for that. That is not my intention. What I'm saying is when I say you should, I am talking to me, not the royal we. I'm talking to me. I'm talking to Doc. I'm saying it out loud, and it happens to be going through a microphone, through a speaker, through a computer, and reaching your ears on whatever device that you're hearing me. So I'm never telling you what to do. I don't have that right, nor do I pretend to have that right. I am just saying, once again, we should take into consideration the cost of everything and the actions and reactions that come with it.